But this video is exposing HM Revenue and Customs. The reason why is because they're cunts. I accidentally made an application to join these fucking bastard cartel motherfucking cunts, and I did it by mistake. I thought I needed to get on a certain website. It was asking for a VAT number, so I signed up to get a VAT number when I tried to start a company. The company wasn't really a success. It made no money, it made a loss. But I wrote to these HM Revenue Custom cunts, and I explained to them, uh, it didn't work out, and they was asked me to do self-assessment bullshit. I said, well, I've closed the business now, and I want to close my HM Revenue Customs account. So I ended up phoning them. Took ages to get through to him. I explained it to the guy. I explained it. He understood. He said, fine, that's no problem. I put the phone down, thought nothing of it. Then I started getting letters, and then the letters got more and more intense. And the situation I'm in now is, if you can see this, it says I now owe £400 for overdue because I haven't bothered to do my self-assessment. If you go on these places, these sites, it's really impossible to actually opt out or close the account. I mean, even if you do manage to find the right page, it asks you 1,000 questions. So anyway, this is the cunt in question, Mrs. C. Graham. So I did a search, found the email, and I've been trying to get hold of this cunt, this Mrs. Cunt Graham, and I've not had a reply via email, so I've had to phone again and again, and it's cost me more and more and more in time and energy, and also in telephone costs. So I started having to write letters to these cunts, and I got no reply other than this one. You need to fill out your tax return. So first of all, it's not hello. It does say dear sir or madam. It doesn't say it doesn't start off very nicely. It jumps straight in, overdue, blah blah blah, penalty £400. Okay, we have charged you £100 penalty as you failed. Well, I'm not obligated to do anything. I've explained to them many times on the phone and in email. They get refused, and in letters. But this is the reason why I'm making the video. This particular line here, it starts talking about an immense amount of money, up to £1,600. This is just like a penalty. So it jumps from what started off as £100, as you can see here. I'm not lying. I don't owe hundreds and hundreds. I don't owe thousands and thousands. It's just simply them offering me to pay them that for no reason at all, other than trying to opt out of their shitty system that I didn't need in the first place. It was actually done by accident. Humans make mistakes. I shouldn't be penalised for a mistake. I haven't made any money on my business. It's not like I'm not avoiding any money. I'm not avoiding to pay any money that I should normally pay. So anyway, you see this, blah blah blah. You incur further charges, blah blah blah. It's got the audacity here. Just do not sign up to these cunts. Do not do it. There must be a way to do what you're doing without having to do it. But if you have to, make sure you realise that once you do it, you can't undo it. Contrary to belief, you can't just go onto the same site you used to start it to close it down. It doesn't work like that. Once you've started, that is it. As far as they're concerned, they own you. And they do send you a letter in the post, which if you sign and you send back, that is your confirmation then that they've got a grip on your neck, and they can twist it and bend it and squeeze it as much as they fucking want. That's their ideology, not mine. But that's why they don't show their real name, Mrs. C. Graham, which I should call cunt. Now, I found her email, I did a search, found her email, but it doesn't make a difference because they never reply. I found other emails, send them messages. I even put on there to forward to the correct people if they're not the correct people, and still I get nothing back. Not even an acknowledgement, not even a automatic response to say that they've even got an email. I mean, if that is the case, it wouldn't make a difference because they don't respond after that anyway. So there's a number. As you can see, it's not a local number, so quite expensive. They're just a bunch of cunts. I'll try and get as much of this in as I can. They've got appeals and decisions, information available, blah blah blah. Yeah, they're just a bunch of cunts. The first thing they do is you need to do that. That's the first thing, other than overdue. and then they say you need to file your tax return urgently. I've got nothing to file, got nothing, I've made nothing other than a loss. So what is the point? I've explained this, I've phoned them up. I'll probably have a few people saying on the comments, oh, you're a cunt, you're trying to avoid paying. No, I've made a huge loss. What's the point in me putting in minus figures? It just doesn't make sense. The only thing you'd be able to do maybe is put 0 or something, or even minus, but I just don't see the point. I don't get anything out of it. They don't get anything out of it. It was all a mistake to start with. I assumed because of a shitty website that happened to be an American fucking website that I needed a tax number, VAT number, because that's what they stated they required, and it had a star next to it. You know, when it has a star, you assume it's, you know, needed. So I put that in. I wanted to be above board, but it didn't work out. Within a month or so, I realised it didn't work out. I spent loads. I shut the site down. I never even registered it as a company, which cost money as well. I never even did that, so I'm not an official company. But just because they sent shit to my house and I signed it and sent it back, and then I realised that it was a mistake and I didn't really need it in the first place, you know. This is the problems you're going to have to face when you're trying to start your own business or company, is not get involved with HMRC. There has to be another way of doing it, unless you're earning a certain amount, and then you need a VAT number. Like, you need to earn a few thousand before you even qualify or, you know, require the need for VAT numbers. So apparently I found out after the fact that in fact what I should have done was done it as a sole trader, which is totally different stats, totally different criteria and stuff. So I'm just putting it out there to expose these little pricks, because they don't understand that I've literally closed the company down. They're still trying to charge me, but I'm explaining this to help people who may be thinking about starting their own company, and not to use HMRC until you're 100% guaranteed and it's bona fide that you definitely need to use HMRC. Like, if you're earning thousands, sure, you're going to need a VAT number, you're going to need this, you're going to need that, not a problem. But do not do this fucking bullshit with them, because this is what happens unless you really know what you're doing, unless you know that you need it. And just because some shitty yank American crappy website says to put a VAT number in saying it's mandatory, and we fall for it and assume that it must be the case, that's part of the reason, to do with American shitty websites. So just to let you know, it was my mistake, but we're human, we make mistakes. I shouldn't be held accountable for something I wasn't aware of at the time. I just assumed that HMRC, you know, VAT number was required when it wasn't. I'll explain this to a guy on the phone, HMRC. He understood straight away. He understood and accepted what I had to say. But I put the phone down thinking that's fine. I've you know, told them what's happening. Now this offer for me to pay this, I've refused already, and yet they send another letter with a different, a higher amount, with a higher threatening amount. What can you do? I haven't got that sort of money. Considering the company I set up to make money didn't work, I've made a loss. Why should I now have to pay that? Because I made a loss. And they're saying, oh, because you didn't file your tax return online. Well, there's nothing to file. I closed the company down way before they sent first letter or even the second letter or whatever. So I can't understand them. I mean, I've been to the same site I used to set up this shitty account with HMRC, and there's not an easy way of closing your account. They don't like you closing your account. Once you're in their grip, they want to keep you. I'm just letting you know, yeah? So if anyone's got any advice, if anyone's dealt with these pricks before, these nameless, anonymous little cunts that, by the way, has not signed it, there's no fucking signature. This is not an official document unless it's got a signature on it. I mean, if someone wants to tell me I'm wrong, fine, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm not going to have a go at you. You say what you want in the comments. I'm not going to have a go at you for it. I'm not going to delete it. But at the end of the day, it pisses me off, because they don't use a signature, they're not using their real name, they've got no email for me to contact them, they've got no fax number. So even if I wanted to use the old style way of doing things and just fax it, you know, for whatever reason, I can't even do that. So the only way you can get hold of these cunts is to spend your whole day on a phone and if you're lucky enough you get to waste your money and your time and energy, and you finally get through to one idiot that says, yeah, I understand, fair enough, it's all sorted for you, just to get another letter through the fucking door. Then you write a letter to them in response to their letter, and they don't even send a decent response. They send another threatening letter without a fucking signature, without a fucking name. That's why I'm going to call this particular Mrs. a cunt, because I don't know her fucking name. If she had a name, she would have said it. If she had a fucking responsible fucking job, she would put her signature on it to prove that Hmrc has sent this letter. Because for all I know, she don't exist. Mrs. Cunt Graham can't exist. One, because there's no fucking signature, which could have been a mistake, but second of all, she hasn't put her name. Now, when I write letters, sometimes I might forget to put a signature. It's obviously come from a human, though. You know what I mean? But this cunt hasn't even got a name. So, me sending a letter without a signature is probably more valid than them sending a response without a signature, without a fucking name. I don't know, what do people think? Do they think I'm overlooking things? Do I think that I should be held accountable for this bullshit? I've explained to them the best way I can. It was a mistake, accident, mistakes happen. If there's any lawyers out there that want to give any free advice to help other people before it gets to the stage where I'm at now, because I mean, the only thing I can think of to do is make an affidavit of fact, and literally, if it, and when it gets to a court, obviously it's going to be a civil court, at least then I've got paperwork to show the judge and close this shit down, because the accuser won't be there. I know this Miss Cunt Graham won't ever be in that courtroom. I know for a fucking fact, 100%. Look at the postcode, nowhere near me. So I know for 100% bona fide fact, I'm willing to put my life on it, that that cunt won't be in that courtroom. And from what I can see is that's the only accuser on this letter. I mean, I might be totally wrong. Someone might say, oh, you're wrong, blah, blah, blah. Well, tell me. Put it in the comments. You know, you don't have to be nasty about it. I'm not going to be nasty at you for having a different opinion. I'm actually wanting someone to help, because not only is it going to help me, it's going to help a lot of other people understand how these cunts work and how to avoid such stupid behaviour on their part, where they can't even bother to sign it, can't be bothered to put their name on it. But the first thing they say is, oh, overdue, you need to pay this urgently or the world will end. Not to mention that money doesn't exist. Money is just debt. There's no such thing as actual credit, really. It's just debt. You know, if some cunt borrows a tenner and they've got to pay back £11, but how can they pay back £11 if they didn't even have the tenner to start with? You know what I mean? It's just total bullshit. Fractional reserve lending, look into it. So yeah, I could give him an A4E. I could give him a promissory note. But I would only do that upon proof of claim that this is actually legitimate fucking money that I owe. Once they prove that, and this Miss Cunt is in the actual court as well to represent the plaintiff, then why should I? I mean, unless they got a proof of claim, I have no obligation to pay this civil fucking matter. So, you know, before people say, oh, why don't you just pay it with this, why don't you pay it with that, I shouldn't really be obligated to be honest. I'm not obligated to. I know for a fact I'm not. The fact they can't even be bothered to put their fucking name on it. Look, no signature. There's the end. There's the fucking bottom. There's the sides. I just don't know what else to fucking say. If anyone's got an opinion on it.